Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the weekly press briefing of the Kosovo Specialist Chambers, where we aim to provide journalists with an update on the latest developments at the court and the opportunity to ask questions. In the case of Hashim Thaçi, Kadri Veseli, Recep Selimi, and Jakub Krasniqi, the trial panel on 4th October granted the request of 3 relatives of a participating victim who has passed away to participate in the proceedings on their behalf. The decision brings the number of participating victims in this case to 143. On 3rd October, the trial panel denied the Thaçi and Selimi defense request to postpone the testimony of 3 witnesses to the next evidentiary block. The SPO had notified the parties on 15th September of the possibility that it may call the 3 witnesses as reserve witnesses during the evidentiary block in October. Since the names of the witnesses were not on the list of the 40 witnesses to be called first, the defense asked for their testimony to be postponed, arguing they will not have sufficient time to prepare for cross-examination. The panel recalled that the witnesses are reserve witnesses that may or may not be called in October, depending on how realistic the estimates by the parties for the duration of witness testimonies will be. The panel further found that the defense received notice on 15th September of the possibility that these witnesses may testify, which is at least 3 weeks before the evidentiary block in October will start. The panel also reminded that there must be a degree of flexibility in the order of appearance of reserve witnesses due to the nature of such witnesses. As such, the panel was satisfied that the defense received sufficient notice and will have sufficient time to adequately prepare for the potential testimony of the witnesses and denied their request to postpone the testimony. Also on 3rd of October, the trial panel granted in part the SPO's request to admit into evidence certain items that are not linked to a witness testimony and that were seized at Mr. Krasniqi's and Mr. Selimi's residences. The items in question include KLA General Staff communiques, political declarations and other announcements, drafts of KLA public statements seized from Mr. Krasniqi, published archives of the KLA General Staff Media Agency Radio Free Kosovo, published archives of the KLA General Staff Media Kosovo Press, and republications of Kosovo Press material in other media, as well as some other items. The trial panel emphasized that the fact that one of the purposes of the KLA communiques might have been to serve as propaganda, and that the content of some of these might therefore contain exaggerated claims, does not render them inadmissible. The panel will determine what purpose these items were intended to serve. On Thursday, 28 September, the panel provided written reasons for its previous oral decision to admit earlier statements of a witness into evidence and declared moot the defense request for reconsideration of the oral decision. The SPO had asked for the statements the witness had made to the Special Prosecution Office of Kosovo and to the SPO to be admitted into evidence because the witness testimony before the KSC was evasive and the witness said he was unable to recall any of the details. The panel accounted for the general reliability of the previous statements, as well as the fact that the witness statements contain evidence related to an incident mentioned in the confirmed indictment, including potentially incriminating material concerning the individual criminal responsibility of Mr. Thaçi and Mr. Selimi. The panel was satisfied that the overall fairness can be maintained despite the admission of this evidence, and that it is in the interest of justice to do so. The panel's reasoning included that the defense had the possibility to cross-examine this witness, that the witness is part of a group of 5 witnesses testifying about the same incident, and that the defense will be able to call its own witnesses and produce relevant evidence in relation to this incident. It will be for the panel to decide what weight, if any, to give to these records. You can find all decisions mentioned here on the KSC website. The next hearing in this case is scheduled for Monday, 9th October, starting at 9 o'clock in the morning. In the Pietà-Sciala trial, the trial panel on 29th September published their decision from 6th September, granting the specialist prosecutors and defense's requests to admit certain materials into evidence related to the testimony and reports of 3 expert witnesses who had testified in the trial. The trial in the case of Pietà-Sciala resumed this Monday on 2nd of October with the testimony of Mr. Bedri Dervishai, who is the second witness called by the defense. On Tuesday, 3rd October, the third witness, Mr. Nasser Kochinai, commenced his testimony. Both witnesses testified without protective measures and were examined by defense and prosecution. The trial panel also asked some questions. According to their testimony, the 2 witnesses were allegedly both KLA members serving in Kukës, northern Albania, during the time frame mentioned in the confirmed indictment. The next hearing in this case is scheduled for Monday, 23rd October, starting at 9:30 in the morning. That was all from me. If there are any questions, I'll be happy to respond.